Deep in the heart of Africa, nestled amongst rolling hills and sparkling streams, lay the village of Whispering Leaves. This village, though small in size, was vast in its beauty and the richness of its culture. The landscape around it was a tapestry of vibrant greens and blues, with the hills rolling like gentle waves and the streams glistening like threads of silver under the sun. It was a small village, its huts huddled together like a flock of sleepy birds. These huts, made from mud and thatch, stood as a testament to the villagers' connection to the earth. Each hut was unique, yet together they formed a harmonious cluster, providing warmth and shelter to the families within. The villagers were kind and hard-working, their lives intertwined with the rhythms of nature. They rose with the sun and rested with the moon, their days filled with the tasks that sustained their community. From dawn till dusk, they worked side by side, their hands and hearts united in purpose. Laughter echoed through the air as children chased brightly colored butterflies, their tiny feet kicking up dust in the golden sunlight. These children, with their boundless energy and innocent joy, were the heartbeat of the village. Their games and laughter brought a sense of lightness and hope to all who heard them. The air was always alive with the sounds of life, the rhythmic pounding of mortars and pestles as women prepared the evening meal. These women, with their skilled hands and nurturing spirits, transformed simple ingredients into nourishing feasts. Their cooking was an act of love, a daily ritual that brought the community together. The melodic chants of farmers tending their fields, and the gentle strumming of the kora as elders shared stories under the soft glow of the moon. The farmers, with their deep knowledge of the land, coaxed life from the soil, ensuring that the village was always well fed. The elders, with their wisdom and music, kept the village's history and traditions alive, passing them down to the younger generations. Life in Whispering Leaves was simple, yet it was filled with a deep sense of community and belonging. Every task, no matter how small, was done with a sense of purpose and pride. The villagers supported one another, their bonds strengthened by shared experiences and mutual respect. The villagers lived in harmony with nature, respecting the land that sustained them and honoring the spirits that watched over them. They believed that every tree, every stream, and every animal had a spirit, and they treated these spirits with reverence. Their rituals and ceremonies were a way of giving thanks and seeking guidance, ensuring that they remained in balance with the world around them. Each day began with the rising sun, its golden rays painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. The sunrise was a daily reminder of the beauty and promise of a new day. As the first light touched the village, it brought with it a sense of renewal and hope. The villagers would gather in the center of the village, their voices mingling in greetings and songs of gratitude. This gathering was a time for connection and celebration, a moment to acknowledge the blessings of the day and to strengthen the bonds of community. The children, their eyes bright with anticipation, would scamper off to play, their laughter echoing through the air. Their games were simple, yet filled with imagination and joy. They played with sticks and stones, creating worlds of adventure and wonder. As the sun began its slow descent, casting long shadows across the land, the villagers would return to their homes, their hearts content with the day's work. The evening brought a sense of peace and fulfillment, a time to rest and reflect on the day's achievements. The air would grow still, the only sound the gentle rustling of leaves and the distant cry of a night bird. The night was a time of quiet and rest, a moment to recharge and prepare for the new day ahead. The stars above, like tiny beacons of light, watched over the village, providing a sense of comfort and protection. And so the days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, and the village of Whispering Leaves continued to thrive under the watchful gaze of the ancient baobab tree. This tree, with its massive trunk and sprawling branches, was a symbol of strength and resilience. It stood as a guardian of the village, a silent witness to the lives and stories of its people. The village of Whispering Leaves, with its rich traditions and deep sense of community, was a place where the past and present coexisted in harmony, a testament to the enduring spirit of its people. Yet in this idyllic haven, a young boy named Jabari carried a heavy heart. His days were filled with a quiet sorrow that seemed to seep into every corner of his being, a sorrow that was invisible to those around him, but ever present in his own mind. Orphaned at a tender age, Jabari lived with his aunt and uncle, their small hut overflowing with their own children. The hut was a bustling place, filled with the sounds of laughter, chatter, and the occasional squabble. Despite the noise and activity, Jabari often felt like a ghost, drifting through the days without truly being seen or heard. While they provided for his basic needs, Jabari yearned for something more, a connection, a friendship that ran deeper than shared meals and a straw mat to sleep on. He longed for someone who would understand the unspoken words that lingered in his heart, someone who would see beyond his quiet exterior to the boy who was desperate for companionship. Jabari was a quiet child, his large, expressive eyes often reflecting a sadness that belied his tender years. Those eyes, so full of unspoken emotion, were windows to a soul that had seen too much loss and too little love. They were eyes that searched for understanding, for a connection that seemed always just out of reach. He would spend his days wandering the outskirts of the village, his small hands trailing through the tall grasses, his mind lost in a world of his own making. In these solitary wanderings, he found a semblance of peace, a brief respite from the loneliness that haunted his every step. The other children, caught up in their own games and laughter, rarely paid him any mind. They were a tight-knit group, their bonds forged through shared experiences and mutual understanding. To them, Jabari was an outsider, a quiet presence on the periphery of their vibrant world. Their indifference stung, leaving Jabari feeling like a solitary bird, its song lost in the cacophony of the forest. He watched them from a distance, his heart aching with a longing that he could not put into words. He yearned to be a part of their world, to share in their laughter and their games, but he did not know how to bridge the gap that separated him from them. He longed to join in their games, to feel the warmth of their companionship, but something always held him back. It was as if an invisible barrier stood between him and the other children, a barrier that he did not know how to cross. He would take a step forward, only to retreat, his courage faltering in the face of his own insecurities. Perhaps it was the shadow of his parents' passing that clung to him, or maybe it was the constant reminder of his outsider status in his own home. The loss of his parents had left a void in his heart, a void that he did not know how to fill. He carried their memory with him always, a silent reminder of the love he had lost and the loneliness that had taken its place. Whatever the reason, Jabari found himself increasingly drawn to the outskirts of the village, seeking solace in the company of the rustling leaves and the chirping insects. In nature, he found a sense of peace that eluded him in the bustling village. The tall grasses and the whispering trees became his sanctuary, a place where he could escape the weight of his loneliness. It was there, amidst the whispering grasses and the sun-dappled glades, that Jabari felt most at peace, his loneliness momentarily forgotten in the embrace of nature's gentle embrace. The natural world, with its quiet beauty and its soothing rhythms, offered him a refuge from the pain that he carried in his heart. In those moments, he could almost believe that he was not alone, that he was a part of something larger and more enduring than his own sorrow. As he lay in the grass, looking up at the sky, Jabari would dream of a different life, a life where he was surrounded by friends and family who loved him. He imagined a world where he was not an outsider, but a cherished member of a close-knit community. These dreams gave him hope, a flicker of light in the darkness of his loneliness. And in those rare moments when a smile would cross his face, it was a testament to the resilience of his spirit. Despite the heavy heart he carried, Jabari held on to hope, believing that one day he would find the connection he so desperately sought. His journey was far from over, and his heart, though heavy, was still capable of dreaming.